Now, I will say that I think this game is going to come down to time of possession. And so I feel like because Saquon Barkley is not a back who gets you 4 or 5 yards, he's literally a home run hitter. He's like the Randy Moss of running backs. So, even if Saquon Barkley has a great game, that means that he has several long runs. That means a short time of possession for the Philadelphia Eagles. And that just leaves Patrick Mahomes way too much opportunity to eat the clock up. And we all know in late game situations, there is not a better executor of any offense ever, including Tom Brady, than Patrick Mahomes. Live from the 504, it's your boy Rodney Rikai. Yes, Zersky. I got my beautiful co-host Samaria Terry rocking out with me for another episode of the Fumble. Samaria, you look very, very nice. Let me compliment
Thank you. I had to get my hair done. But anyways, enough about me. You are in New Orleans. Is it crazy down there? You're covering Super Bowl 59.
I am covering Super Bowl LIX, and yeah, it's a lot of energy. It's a lot of energy. My first day here, I flew in late, right? So I went to one of the restaurants that everybody goes to. It's called Drago's, and they were closing. And when I walked in, like for people out there who have never seen me in person, I'm not a little man. So when I walked into Drago's, they were closing, and they were like, "We're not serving anybody else." And somebody that was at the bar that had just got their food was like, "Well, he deserves a cup of gumbo." And they gave me their seafood gumbo, and they thought I was a member of the Philadelphia Eagles. So needless to say, my ego is as big as a balloon right now. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, man, I'm excited to be here. I'm thankful. And we've had some really dope interviews. Like maybe I can give you a little sneak peek right now. You want to see a little bit of what we've been doing?
Yeah.
Like something like this.
Fumble family, what's the deal? It's your guy Rodney Rikai, suited and booted down in New Orleans from the Super Bowl. And today I'm here at the Sports Power Brunch, just celebrating and acknowledging women throughout the sports industry. It's going to be a beautiful day. I'm going to get y'all some behind the scenes looks, some interviews on the red carpet, or purple carpet, I should say. It's going to be a good day down in Nola. You dig me? Who was on your Mount Rushmore of women journalists?
Ooh, women's journalists.
Or media personalities. We can combine the two.
I got to go Jamel Hill.
Jamel Hill.
I'm going to go Robin Roberts.
Jamel Hill.
LaChina Robinson's my girl.
And Jamel Hill.
Who am I going to go for that fourth?
Say yourself.
Take my time.
Why you can't say yourself?
Oh, myself? That's what you said. Sure.
Yeah, you see that?
I like
You see that there?
I like you doing your thing. You're doing your thing.
Listen, I've been around a very, very healthy amount of powerful, beautiful women. And the one thing I took away was that I miss Samaria Terry. And I cannot wait to get into this episode of The Fumble with you, my sister. Are you ready?
Yes.
Let's do it.
All right, Rodney, let's just kick right into the game. The Philadelphia Eagles taking on the reigning Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. Can Patrick Mahomes lead KC to its third straight championship? Or will Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley prove to be too much for this Chiefs defense? Rodney, who you got?
I don't know why you put Jalen Hurts' name before Saquon's. You mean the Saquon Barkley show versus Patrick Mahomes. Let's not get it misunderstood or misconstrued, okay? I'm going Chiefs, though. I'm going Chiefs. There's something about history being on the brink of happening that I just feel like, it's just a healthier storyline for the NFL, for the NFL's fan base. And outside of just storylines from a football standpoint on the field, I just think that Chiefs defense has been absolutely incredible. And so, and the Eagles defense has been as well, right? So those two things kind of neutralize each other. So if I have to put a decision on who's going to win this game, it's going to come down to offense. And do I trust Jalen Hurts or do I trust Patrick Mahomes? And respectfully and lovingly, I'm going Patty Mahomes. You dig what I'm saying? So that's where I fall. How you feel about it?
I agree. Like, I always consider Kansas City like a well-oiled machine, like the Warriors or the Bulls back in the day. Like, unfortunately, they know how to win. They are professional winners. And in order for Saquon Barkley, I'm not going to say Jalen Hurts, in order for Saquon in this offense to be able to beat them, they're going to have to do it quick and convincingly. They cannot leave any little doubt for Kansas City in this matchup because they're going to lose. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to go Kansas City too, because I don't know if Philly's going to be able to do what needs to be done on the biggest stage. I actually am more excited about seeing Kendrick, to be honest.
I'm equally as excited about Kendrick, but But I'm here in New Orleans, right? So I gotta give
Yeah.
reverence to the actual game. Now I will say that I think this game is gonna come down to time of possession. And so I feel like because Saquon Barkley is not a back who gets through 4 or 5 yards, he's literally a home run hitter. He's like the Randy Moss of running backs. So, even if Saquon Barkley has a great game, that means that he has several long runs. That means it's a short time of possession for the Philadelphia Eagles. And that just leaves Patrick Mahomes way too much opportunity to eat the clock up. And we all know in late game situations, there is not a better executor of any offense ever, including Tom Brady, than Patrick Mahomes.
The defense is going to have to get stops.
Exactly,
And they're
man.
going to
But
have to
I
get some turnovers. And yeah,
all of that. But Mahomes has been so methodical this year, right? It
I know.
hasn't been a lot of deep balls and all of that stuff. It's been 5 yards here, 7 yards here. He's been killing and eating up the clock and working perfectly in alignment with his defense. And I can't see that formula not working in this game. And yeah, I mean, and also, and I'm gonna say this again and reiterate it until the end of time, Eagles fans are obnoxious, and I do not want to see them happy. I don't want to see them happy, dog. They are miserable people.
Well, what do you think about the reffing in this game, the officiating, excuse me?
Yeah, well, they might have a little Kansas City Chiefs pin under their officiating uniforms. I don't want to make it about that because I feel like so many people are starting to go with this narrative that the Chiefs are only good because of the officiating that they receive. And I just think that does a huge disservice to the greatness of the Chiefs. I've been asking people down here, do they think that winning is natural or nurtured? And like you said, they are a well-oiled machine, the Kansas City Chiefs, and there's something about them that just feels like they just know how to win.
Yeah.
They just know how to win.
All right. Well, you all let us know down in the comments. Who do you think is going to win, as Rodney says, Super Bowl LIX, Super Bowl 59? Do you have the Eagles or do you have the Chiefs? We want to know what you think.
Man, the NBA trade season never disappoints, but this week was extra spicy. Samaria. Luka got traded for AD. De'Aaron Fox got traded for a churro. Jimmy Butler is most definitely a warrior. The Bucks ruined their chances. And then the trade that made me upset is then the Lakers after making a phenomenal move and trading for Luka Doncic. Trading Connect Four, man. Samaria, of all the trade, which one did you like the most?
I'm going to go with the one that you called last week. De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs. Watching him last night, I felt like obviously they have a little bit more work to do. I mean, he didn't even practice with them. He said that he had to run on the treadmill to kind of stay in shape a little bit during the process of them doing his physicals and all of that. But they look good. I mean, he was able to give them this offensive burst in the first half. Him and CP being more of like a veteran voice on the team. I liked it. Before I get into my head scratchers, who do you like?
Okay. So let me just acknowledge something that you just mentioned. Chris Paul being able to stay with the San Antonio Spurs, I think was so important. One, because of his leadership, but two, De'Aaron Fox has never had to play the role of traditional point guard in Sacramento. And, in his first game with the Spurs, we saw him have 13 assists. De'Aaron Fox doesn't do that.
Assists, yeah.
So, yeah. And so now he gets to be mentored by a point guard who understands the nuances of the game that will benefit Wemby, which will, of course, benefit the Spurs, that De'Aaron Fox has never had to be a part of. So shout out to the San Antonio Spurs front office for keeping Chris Paul, which I think is a huge part of their future. Not necessarily that he's going to help them win a championship, but I think down the line, years, even after he's retired, the team will be benefiting from his wisdom and information that he'll be disseminating. So, yeah, my favorite trade, it's tough. It's Luka Doncic. It's the Luka trade only because as a Lakers supporter, as a Lakers fan, a supporter more than a fan, I just felt like this franchise was about to go through that time period like they did after Kobe Bryant retired, where they just sucked for like 10 years because LeBron is so old. They had no hope for the future. And now you get somebody who was a legitimate superstar from his first day with the organization who can carry this franchise for the next 10 to 15 years in Luka Doncic. And people already want to go to LA to play. But you put Luka there, and now you have a guy who people want to play with.
I mean, obviously, that was the biggest head scratcher. Because what did Luka do?
I mean, there's been reports that people just don't like the way he manages his body, right? They say that his weight has ballooned between 260 and 270 pounds, all of these different types of things. And so they felt like maybe he wasn't an asset they should invest $356 million into once his contract is up next year. So, the Mavericks fear is the Lakers game. I don't care if Luka Doncic takes shots at Don Julio during halftime, right? Like he is a top 3 player in the NBA
He's
and
good.
an
Yeah.
all-time offensive force. That's not a player you let go at the age of 25. And then you pair him with
That's what I'm
LeBron James.
saying. I'm like, what? Like, that was the craziest thing to me. And then you got Anthony Davis in return.
Who's 32 years old, and AD is a really good player. He changes the way the Mavericks play. I think the Mavericks might have a better season this year than the Lakers, only because the pieces that they have are so good and interchangeable defensively. They have a lot of size.
Okay.
Now you got AD, you got Gafford, you got Lively, you got PJ Washington, and now you have guys who are defensive juggernauts who love to play defense, can shoot it a little bit, and you flank Kyrie Irving with that level of defensive tenacity. I think the Mavericks actually are going to be quite good and a big headache for anybody to play in the playoffs this season.
All right. Well,
Yo.
let's talk about Jimmy Butler.
Oh yeah, Jimmy got traded for Maple Jordan. What do you think about the Jimmy Butler trade? You know, I obviously you've been talking about it for the last 3 weeks.
I'm going to be curious to see the dynamic with Golden State. I really am. Like, I think that him and Draymond are very feisty sometimes. And I think that could be either really good or really bad. Hopefully it's really good. I hope that he doesn't get here and is like, actually, I don't like it. But I think this is where he wanted to be. So
I think he wanted to get to Phoenix. And I think there was a lot going on around Kevin Durant potentially getting traded that stopped that from happening. And so he winds up in Golden State. I don't worry about the fit between him and Draymond. I think two people like that, it's like the Bash brothers from the Mighty Ducks.
No, that's what I'm saying. They're going to be feisty with other people, not against each other.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be I think they'll be feisty.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Got you. Yeah, for sure. I think Draymond will pull the best out of Jimmy, and vice versa. My only thing with Jimmy though is he's not a floor spacer. And I think one of the big parts of the Warriors' success obviously has been their 3-point shooting, and that hasn't just been Steph Curry. Of course, that was Klay Thompson. But Jimmy maybe slots into like a super 2.0 version of Iguodala. You know, a do-it-all guy who scores a little bit, scores in the mid-range, gets to the cup. But it's going to be an interesting fit because I think that what Jimmy does well is not necessarily how the Warriors play. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it all comes together. Right now, the Warriors, I think, are 11th in the Western Conference outside of both the playoffs and play-in. Does Jimmy change that? Maybe.
Yeah, then you traded away Wiggins and Schroeder. So
yeah, listen, man, I hope Schroeder gets bought out down in Miami and he ends up a Los Angeles Laker. That would be magnifique. Yeah, I don't know. Another trade that really blew my mind was Chris Middleton going to DC for Kyle Kuzma. I don't know what the hell Milwaukee was thinking. Kyle Kuzma has been playing Pop Warner basketball, not even football, Pop Warner basketball for the last 3 years. He's been playing on a summer league team with the Washington Wizards. I don't know if he knows how to play winning basketball anymore. And the Bucks are in win now mode when you have Giannis and Dame. So like, why are you bringing in of all people Kyle Kuzma? And Chris Middleton maybe was on his last leg. His ankles are not doing well. But like, you want to trade him for a guy who's been playing in obscurity? I just don't see the fit.
Okay, let's go back to Luka in the Lakers and all the conspiracy theories. I think that's been the biggest thing. One of the ones that I've seen is that LeBron did not know about the trade.
He didn't.
I don't really care if he knew or not. I feel like he probably had some sort of heads up, like even if it was like a second before Shams, he didn't know nothing. Okay,
he didn't
know.
He did not know.
Conspiracy. Another conspiracy, and we touched on it earlier, was the weight situation. I feel like, unfortunately, for everybody in the West, the Dallas Mavericks just awoken a beast in Luka Doncic. Like, he is about to prove to everybody that he was worth the $100 million that he's now lost because he can't get that Supermax with the Mavericks. And I think that that's really dangerous. And I'm a little scared. Speaking of scared, Anthony Edwards also said that he was scared now because he's like, anybody could be traded at this point.
Nah, he's good. Without Anthony Davis, then Minnesota franchise has to get moved to Las Vegas. Anthony Edwards. Here's the thing about Luka, right? He's already great. And I don't think his offensive output is going to like go up crazy. So if we say that they've awoken the beast, does that mean that Luka is now going to play defense? I don't know. Like, I don't know if he prioritized that. I think
he's just going to be in a little more shape than he was before.
Well, I hope so. You rocking with LeBron James now, fam? Like LeBron is the
Right.
most conditioned athlete of all time, and he
Yeah.
spends so much money on his body. And so, if there's anybody that can teach Luka to how to maintain his body, it's LeBron James. And so, you hope that he catches even a smidgen of what LeBron James has been doing for 22 years now, and the Lakers will be even greater off for it. But I just, the things that Luka struggles with that makes it hard to play with Luka is not on the offensive end; it's on the defensive end. And so maybe by virtue of changing his body, he'll have more stamina. But I think we'll continue to see the same old Luka, which is an all-time generational talent as currently constructed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, some throwaway trades. No, not even throwaway. Sticking with the Lakers, man, they traded Dalton Connect for Mark Williams. I don't even know who the hell Mark Williams is, bro. I forgot about. I'm
I
upset.
didn't either, but I didn't want to say that. But yeah. And Cam Reddish, and who else did they get rid of?
They traded Dalton Connect. And
Okay.
really Dalton Connect, Cam Reddish in the first round pick for Mark Williams. Mark Williams,
Okay.
23-year-old center, has a 9-foot 9-inch wingspan, which is bigger
Yeah,
than,
he's like
which is longer than Wemby's.
7'1", 7'2",
But he
or
plays
something.
like Kevon. He plays like Kevon Looney. Like he's 7'1", 7'2", and he barely dunks. Oh my God. I was watching his highlights because all my boys in the group chat were like, well, he looks pretty good, man. He putting up stats. And I went to his highlights to go check it out. Bro, I don't like it. I don't like it. He does not look like the kind of guy that you want to start as center. And respectfully, not the kind of guy who is ready to win now. And with a 40-year-old LeBron James, you needed a center who's a little bit further along, who also has been playing serious basketball. He's been playing with LaMelo Ball for his whole career, which has just started last year. And so I just don't understand. Like, why not go get Robert Williams from Portland? Why not, I don't know, sign Dwight Howard? He's been crying and complaining on the internet for months now. But anyway, a lot to discuss. I'm very passionate about this topic, as you can see. I'm a hoops nerd for sure. Yeah, so you all let us know which trade you think is going to be the most impactful for this NBA season. Is the Los Angeles Lakers? Is it Jimmy Butler to the Warriors? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section.
All right, folks, we've got a very special guest in the building with us today. He's a proud Chicago native and a former standout diver for Howard University, who's now come full circle as the assistant coach for Howard's swimming and diving program. His passion and leadership have been instrumental in helping shape the next generation of Bison athletes. Y'all give a big welcome to Courtney Miller. What's up, cousin?
Hey, what's happening, coach?
Good.
See, he
All right,
does
man.
that. He does that. Rodney doesn't like
yeah,
that.
I'm unfamiliar with that. That's not my sport. That's not my sport. Hey, yo, Courtney, chill. Hey, man, out the gate, fam. I'm an Aggie, okay? Yeah.
Everybody had to go somewhere.
Hey, yeah. And I went to the best place that I could. The best place in the land. You already know. So I'm going to ask you, who got the best homecoming? Is it Howard or is it G-Ho?
Prairie View A&M. Boom.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Okay. You can't say that wearing a Howard shirt, but I respect it. I get the roots of it, but sheesh, that's tough.
I'm old school. I road trip.
Okay, so hold on now, Samaria. This is the important conversation. So
Okay.
tell me about Prairie View A&M's homecoming. Now, like, am I missing it out?
No, this is gonna be seen on public. I can't do that.
Respect. Samaria, take us somewhere more professional.
You all right now have the only HBCU swimming and diving program. I know for you all, the mission is Black people can swim. How surreal is it, or do you ever just get chills looking out at your roster and seeing all of these Black and brown faces competing at a high level in swimming and diving?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me myself, coming out of Chicago, this was my way out. Ended up at Howard. And of course, I rep the Mecca and always have and always will. I'll never be able to give back Howard as much as it gave me. But from the perspective of swim and dive, this year we've got 10 divers on deck. I've been around the sport for a few decades now, and I've never seen that many competitive divers in the sport, period. And we've got 10 on the deck. So it's pretty amazing, pretty significant. And these kids, these young people are accountable, they're respectable, and they're proving to the larger community that we're in this to win this. We're just not a token athlete. We're highly trained, highly skilled, highly intelligent, and quite capable and competent to put in that good work. So it does my heart great. It does my heart. That's why I'm still here.
Coaching during the NIL era, even though it's swimming and dive, has to be an interesting experience, right? Do you encourage your athletes, who I do believe are all scholarship athletes, or for the most part, do you encourage them to go out and try to find brand deals?
Yeah, absolutely. This is the business of sport. And here's the thing that I want to not correct, but augment. Most of our athletes that are scholarship athletes are academic scholarship athletes.
Okay.
So we recruit not only fast swimmers, great people, we recruit accomplished students. Our GPA is higher than the schools, higher than the athletic department, because we're very serious about our athletic standing. That said, we are in a branding era. We are in an entrepreneurial era. And these young people use these cell phones and they create video, movies, they influenced. I don't even know any of this stuff, but they make it happen. And if it's all about enhancing the bottom line and growing the community, I'm all in.
When I was a youth, I did everything, right? I played every sport and I swam for the Orange Stingrays. I just didn't like the little tights. I ain't like the tights. But in every sport that I played, I ain't like them, bro. You know what I mean? I'm a chill. Every sport that I played, right, has certain mechanics that a coach from a different team would see and would say, yo, I could use that thing you do very well on the basketball court, on the soccer field, or, your hand-eye coordination in baseball, I think would really make you a phenomenal quarterback. And I'm wondering from your perspective, is there any mechanic of any other sport that you think translates well to the water?
Yeah, and I'm going to narrow it in and be specific. So I deal primarily now with divers, right? So what we're doing to grow the sport is that we're going to youngsters that are doing gymnastics, that are doing double mini trampoline, that are doing cheerleading, that are doing tumbling, because just that aerobat, that sense of flipping and turns translates well. So, and that's a way to grow the sport. In the water, endurance runners make good swimmers. Coach Nick was a 2-star MVP. He was a tennis player. It's a lonely sport in that you're in there with yourself. So it causes you to center in a lot, but it's also a heavily cardio sport. One of our strongest freshman divers was a swimmer last year, but he's also a physics major. So the understanding of the water and the body and the stroke translated wonderfully to the boards, because that understanding of physics, he can dissect angles and talk about velocities in a way that I've never thought possible. So if you're an athlete, you're just an athlete. You know that you've been an athlete.
Yeah. Samaria be sleeping. She don't be thinking I'm an athlete. I'm like, bruh, I'm an older gentleman. I'll be out here killing these young boys out there on that basketball court and flag football field. Still.
I believe him.
Still.
I believe him. He got the look. I don't know if he got the game, but he got the look.
See.
Respect, brother.
Yeah, huge thanks to Courtney Miller for joining us today, sharing his journey. Y'all be sure to keep an eye out on what he and his team are building over at Howard. And don't forget to leave a comment below letting us know who you would like to see on the next show.
Hey,
Coach, thank you so much again.
If you got kids who are gymnasts or athletes, send them to me. I can get them paid.
Man, I got one kid in college. Samaria's on deck. I got one kid in college and one kid that's a junior, and he can't swim for nothing. He can't swim.
But you know us now. You fam now. Send them my way.
All right, it's time for my fumble of the week. And while I am down here in New Orleans in preparation for the Super Bowl, I have my mind and my heart just thinking about NBA All-Star Weekend, Samaria. Okay, it's just next week, Valentine's Day weekend, which is always a good out for all the brothers out there. If you want to figure out how to get out of not being a part of the dumbness that is Valentine's Day, you go to All-Star Weekend. Anyway, for years, fans like myself have been complaining about the lack of integrity in the NBA All-Star game, right? Like, there's just not good basketball that's being played. People are scoring 170, damn near 200 points. There's no defense being played at all, right? And there's such a hodgepodge of players who I don't want to see. I don't want to see Jaren Jackson in the All-Star game, even if he's a good player. I don't want to see, to be honest, if he's the best player in the league, I don't want to see Jokic in the All-Star game because he doesn't care about it, right? But there are two guys this year who will not be a part of the All-Star game that fans are up in arms about. And of course, I'm talking about LaMelo Ball and Kyrie Irving. Listen, if you want people to watch NBA All-Star Weekend, you have to include the players that fans actually want to see. I do not care about what the record is of the Charlotte Hornets. That is not necessary to put into the equation when it comes to LaMelo Ball being an all-star. We want to see people who have electricity in their game being on the court. We want to see elite high-level skill in the NBA All-Star game. I don't want to see plotting big men running up and down court, chucking threes and hook shots. That is not what this event is for. It is supposed to be the display of the NBA players who do things that we as normal human beings cannot. Have you seen Kyrie Irving play basketball? Ladies and gentlemen, is anything about him say that that's not the kind of guy that we want to see in the All-Star game? I don't understand why the NBA is trying to force these certain players and these oversized human beings to be front and center for All-Star Weekend. It's out of alignment with the brand. And the NBA does such a poor job of branding itself, especially during its marquee event. And it's these kinds of mistakes that will always keep it second fiddle to the NFL. And so the NBA, you are getting the fumble of the week for not providing fans with the opportunity to celebrate and watch in awe some of the most creative players that you have in the league. Samaria, what are your thoughts on my fumble of the week?
I mean, you're right. The All-Star game doesn't get good until the fourth quarter, where the score is 150 to 146. You brought up the NFL. They have to make a change in their Pro Bowl. It's a flag football game now. Do you feel like the NBA could do something similar? I don't know, maybe a 3-on-3 or something that can get people more interested in it.
No, because NBA players are soft mentally. The one thing that will change All-Star Weekend is a one-on-one King of the Hill, King of the Court tournament. Like that's the thing that will change everything. But NBA players are so soft, which is crazy because I've been at Team USA practices and I've watched them play King of the Court. I've watched Kevin Durant, Paul George, and James Harden play a 1v1v1. And it's incredible to bear witness to. But they do not want to do it for whatever reason at All-Star Weekend. It's a weird thing how much they do not want to compete during that weekend, but will play their asses off and their hearts out during the summer.
Okay. I'm going to have to disagree with you on your fumble of the week. I think honorable mention, at least, should go to the Dallas Mavericks.
Why?
Because you traded away your whole... Luka Doncic is the Dallas Mavericks. I know that you have Kyrie, you have Klay Thompson, but it's Luka's team.
Samaria.
I feel like that's...
Has your fiance ever been in other relationships before y'all met? Has he been? Has
Where are you going
yes
with
or
this?
no? Yes or no?
Where are you going with this?
I'm gonna assume yes. Now,
Okay.
somebody else felt like that was not their person. And that is okay, because look where he landed. The Dallas Mavericks did not feel like Luka Doncic was their person. And they traded for somebody who they feel like is. And so we can't dictate how people value certain entities and people, right? Whatever they determine to be the thing that they need, they went out, sought it, and got it. Literally got the version that they wanted. Maybe they wanted Giannis, but they got AD. So we can't judge them for making a business decision because there's a lot of financial commitment to Luka Doncic had they kept him. So I'm just saying. But your fiance is for you. That's your man. That's your person.
Okay, but earlier in the show, you talked about how great of a player Luka is. How he's one of the best, if not the best scorer right now. Why would you get rid of that person? Like, who is now the face of the Dallas Mavericks? Is Anthony Davis or is it going to be Kyrie? You just set the Lakers up for the future.
Yeah, sure. But also, Luka is white James Harden. And so we've never seen James Harden win a championship because that style of play to be that ball dominant has never worked in NBA basketball. And in this iteration of NBA basketball, where you do need to have a strong team, you do need ball movement, you do need high volume 3-point shooters on the wings, Luka is a one-man show a lot of times. So yeah, while he can be the face of the franchise for the Lakers in the next 10 to 15 years, he is going to have to make a lot of adjustments to his game in order to become a championship caliber player. because at this rate, as great as he is, all he's going to be is a supernova version of James Harden, which has yet to prove itself to be a worthy style of winning a championship.
So who's the face of the Mavericks?
It's Kyrie Irving, which I think is so beautiful. Right? Kyrie Irving, this man who has been much maligned. People have said so many negative things about Kai. You know him from Jersey, right? So I got to represent. But to see Kyrie be handed the keys to a franchise, like, no, we believe and trust in not just your play on the court, but your leadership, I think is just beautiful serendipity for a man that so many people says so many negative things about, for speaking up and out for his people and his community and atrocities that are going on in this world. That's all Kyrie ever did, and not want to get a shot. And now he has been afforded the luxury of a franchise in a state that does not have state income tax. Shout out to the universe, man. Shout out to the universe, bruh. The universe will keep its truest and most beautiful humans alive, afloat, and flourishing, despite what humans attempt to do to them. It's beautiful, man. I love that for Kai. Big Jersey.
Okay.
What are you winning? What are you winning? You a hater.
Okay.
Anyway, y'all let us know your thoughts on my fumble of the week. Did the NBA do a poor job of selecting players for this NBA All-Star weekend? Is it time for them to put its most electrifying athletes in the game? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Appreciate ya.
All right, that's all for this week. Thank you so much for joining us for another great episode of The Fumble. Make sure to subscribe to The Fumble and at The Fumble Sports on all of our social media platforms. You can catch us every Friday right here at The Fumble with myself, Samaria Terry, and my co-host, Rodney Rikai, who is down in New Orleans killing it. You all go check out everything I1 Digital. He's on there.
Yeah. Everything I'm killing is my waistline, because all I'm doing is eating food, and I ain't been to the gym one time. You feel what I'm saying? I'm up like 7 pounds. I feel heavy as hell, but I'm having a good time. Super Bowl LIX is all going down. Stay locked in with your boy. One time, Samaria Terry. We out of here. Hey.